A very good evening, Zimbabwe. You are listening to Studio 7 from the Voice of America in Washington. I am Gibbs Dube in Maryland, and this is LiveTalk.
And I'm Marvelous Mnangagwa. We are broadcasting from Washington, D.C. And today I'm actually broadcasting from the office here due to COVID-19. Of course, you can see me. I have my mask right here. But we're going to be talking to you about COVID-19 and other political developments in the country.
So we see that when it comes to COVID-19, there are so many people that have contracted the disease in Zimbabwe. Now the figure is 7,116 since March. And out of this number, 5,373 have actually recovered, 208 have died. Worldwide, according to Johns Hopkins University, there are 27,164,445 people that have contracted COVID-19. Out of this number, 889,627 have actually died. And when we look at USA, there are 6,280,400 people that have actually contracted COVID-19. And 188,954 have actually died. Siyabona ke zulukandaba ukuthi nxa sikhangela i-COVID-19 iyamemetheka siloku mangalisayo kwele Zimbabwe. Usuku labantu abedlula 7,000 asebebanjwe umkhuhlane lo. Kuthi abedlula 5,000 labo sebesilile. Masikhangela sebebhubhile khona manje kule 208. Lokhu sikwethulelwa ke lugatsha lwezempilakahle. Nxa sikhangela emhlabeni wonke jikelele siyabona ukuthi umkhuhlane lo uyamemetheka okunye okumangalisayo. I-Johns Hopkins University ithi labantu abedlula 27 million. Bese kubuya aba 889,627 sebebhubhile. Kuzobuya ke eMelika sobe sedlula 6 million abantu ababanjwe i-COVID-19. Kuzokuthi abayi 188,954 sebebhubhile. Kunjani?
Aiwa, tinokuchingamidza ine mufaro pano pachirongwa chedu paLiveTalk icho tiri kutepfenyura tiri kuno kuAmerica. Sekutaura kwandaita nhasi ndambopinda muofisi, although ndiri kutepfenyura zvangu ndiri kuofisi, asi muri kuona ndakapfeka maski yangu pamusoro pedenda reCovid-19 iro ratekeshera munyika pari zvino. Uyezve tinoona kuti munyika yeZimbabwe uwandu hwevanhu vari kubatwa nedenda irori reCovid-19, bazi rezveutano riri kutaura iro kuti huri kuramba huchikwira. Uyezve tichange tiri kutaura panyaya yedenda irori reCovid-19 tichitarisa zvakare zviri kuitika pasi rose panyaya iyi yedenda reCovid-19, tichikupai kuti zvakamira sei pari zvino, kuti vanhu vangani vakwanisa kunge vachiwanikwa ivo vachishaya kubva kuchirwere ichi. Tinoona kuti chirwere ichi pari zvino zvichitaurwa izvo nezvebazi rezveutano vanotaura kuti mamiriro akaita zvinhu pari zvino pane vanhu 208 vawanikwa ivo vachishaya. Uyezve pari zvino tinotarisa isu kuti macases aripo pari zvino ari kusvika ivo 7,116. Saka ndo zvimwe zviri kuitika pari zvino, asi recovered zvinoreva kuti vanhu vakawanikwa vachibatwa neCovid-19 vachikunda denda iri vati one day vari kusvika pa5,373. ndo zviri kutaurwa nezvebazi rezveutano munyika, vachitaura ivo kuti vanhu vanokwanisa kunge vakabatwa nedenda iri reCovid-19, asi zvatiri kuonawo zviri kubuda zvakanaka panguva ino ndezvekuti pane vanhu vazhinji vabatwa nedenda iri reCovid-19 asi vakawanikwa ivo vachiri kunda. Saka ndo zviri kuitika panyaya iyi yeCovid-19. Totarisa zvakare zviri kubuda pasi rose kuJohns Hopkins University yemuno muAmerica iri kutaura iyo kuti globally zvinoreva kuti pasi rose pane vanhu 27 million vabatwa neCovid-19. Pachiwanikwa ivo pane vanhu 882,000 vawanikwa ivo vachishaya kubva kuchirwere ichi cheCovid-19. Totarisa imo muno muAmerica, muUnited States mune vanhu 6 million vabatwa neCovid-19, 188,000 vakawanikwa vachishaya. Saka tichange tiri kutarisa zvakare zviri kuitika panyaya dzezvematongerwo enyika, tichitarisa kuti munyika pari zvino tinoona kuti pane nhumwa dziri kunzi dzichange dziri kuuya kubva kuSouth Africa dzichiuya kuzozeya munyika yeZimbabwe pamusoro pemamiriro akaita zvinhu munyika. Tinoona hurumende inoti munyika hamuna mapisha-pisha, asi vamwewo vanoshanda vakazvimirira nemapato anopikisa vachiti aiwa zvinhu hazvina kumira zvakanaka. Saka tichange tiine vanyarikani vatiinavo ipo pano tichikurukura kuti zvinhu zvakamira sei panyaya yedambudziko irori rekuti pane mapisha-pisha munyika here kana kuti kwete. Gibbs.
There's some people who actually sent us audios, talking about COVID-19 and other issues. Let's listen to what this was saying specifically about COVID-19.
Nansi indaba esimangalileyo lapha koBulawayo empilo. Sihlukumezekile kakhulu. Siyagulelwa. Sithi nxa sigulelwa sinjalo akula kudla. Izihlobo zethu zithi nxa zize sinika ukudla ziyalela ukungena kuthiwe kasiphume siye kudla phandle ethareni esikweyeni ebhuqwini kulomoya kuledoti kulani konke kuthiwa kasiye kudla khonapho singangeni singangeni lezithwala lapha ngoba sizabiza i-COVID-19 lamawu. Sidanile sibili kakhulu into eyenzakeleyo. Angazi ukuthi izibhedlela zonke kuyavunyelwa yini lokho esikwenziwe empilo ukuhlukunyezwa okungaka. Ngapha sigulelwa ngabantwana. Abantwana kuthiwa kasichiye khapho ngabantwana abancane abale 2 weeks. Abanye bale 1 week, abanye bale nyanga. Kuthiwa kasichiye kuphela empedeni siphume siye kudla phandle khonale. Lapho kuphekwa khona izithwala esibhedlela esane sikhule sile sabadala. Abantwana sibachiye bodwa ngapha. Angazi kumbe kuyavunyelwa yini. Ngicela lindlulisele umlayezo lo siluhambe khonale phezulu kuhulumende la kumama uOxilia Mnangagwa onguye sibilo okhangele ngezabantwana. Ngiyabonga ngugogo Love More osempilo kathesi.
Bonani mthokazo omuhle. Lisaphila kuzo indawo zonke zelizwe lamazwe lomhlaba ngatsho kanjalo. Ngiyalithanda ngithanda nyani phakathi kwesimo esikhona secorona yona le bakithi siyaphepha na, siphephile yini, liyakhuleka na, liyasanitize yini, amamaski ayafakwa ngendlela yini, bakithi social distance kuhlalelana khatshana. Hayi siyabonga kunjalo uma ungekho eziqamthetho abanye beke beseqamabhola bakhona yini. Umalayicha yani into zenu zalezo. Selidingela amaframashini azabhapha kwababhoda litshela so. Right, siyabonga. Ngithanda ukubulisa labane ekuseni kunapha komalaba maziwa ukhona indongcube gohole ukhona mdala sitshela isindamanzi ingwenya uyekuthathwa ngamanzi kodwa yona yali khona pha khonapho sibangani sivalo uchuma mdala mchuma ukhona vuka phela mdala malume khonapho vuka malume amvuka noni enhle matshelela. Siyabonga inhlelo zethu baba asibanjwe ngokupheleleyo bakithi kodwa siphephe kulolu bhubhane. Ngiyabonga ngokwenye idaluka.
So these are some of the people that actually send us messages on our WhatsApp. You are also in a position to send messages on WhatsApp in this on this number +1 202 465 0318. That number again +1 202 465 0318. So one of the people is at Mpilo Hospital. She was complaining about the way they are being treated at Mpilo Hospital. So we tried to get hold of Mpilo authorities, but we couldn't at this stage. So we're going to talk to them further, later. So it seems as if people are asked to have their meals outside Mpilo premises, that is outside the buildings, so they can go to the grounds and have their meals and so forth. So according to the hospital authorities, they fear that there could be an infestation of cockroaches and other unwanted insects, So then the other guy was saying, people must take a very extreme care in terms of COVID-19. He is in Taluga, that is more than Gwenya. So that's the scheme of things.
Aiwa apo tanga tiri kunzwa kubva kune vamwe vanowanikwa ivo vatsigiri vedu pano pastudio 7 vepa WhatsApp vanga vari kutaura ivo mamiriro akaita zvinhu munzvimbo dzavari. Tanzwa kubva kune vamwe vanga vari kutaura vari kuMpilo Hospital vachitaura ivo kuti pari zvino vari kutonzi vadye vari panze pamusoro pemamiriro akaita zvinhu. Asi tinoziva zvakare kuti pane vamwe vatakataura navo paLet's Talk ngatikurukurei vanga vari kutaurawo madzimai vanga vari kutaura zvanga zviri kuitika kuparenyatwa hospital uko vanga vari kuti vamwe vanenge vaenda kunobatsirwa nevana vanenge vasati vasvika vatingati premature vari kuwanikwa ivo vasingawani rubatsiro rwavari kuda panguva yakakodzera sezvo vari kudziva kana vari kubva kuzvipatara zvehurumende havasi kupiwa priority. Asi hatina kukwanisa kunge tichinzwawo kubva kuparenyatwa hospital kuti ndo zviri kuitika here. Asi sekutaura kwataita aya maonero evanhu asiriwo anobva kuVOA. Saka ndo zvimwe zvatichange tiri kukurukura nazvo pazuva ranhasi, tisingakanganwe zvakare kuti tiri kutarisa isu nyaya yezviri kuitika munyika pari zvino panyaya yedzematongerwo enyika, nyanya panyaya yenhumwa dzakatarisira kunge dziri kuuya kuZimbabwe munguva inotevera. Tisingakanganwe zvakare kuti nezuro ranga riri zuva iro vaimbova mutungamiri wenyika yeZimbabwe vaRobert Mugabe vakawanikwa ivo vachisvitsa gore mushure mekunge vashayika. Saka kana muchidawo zvakare kutaura pamusoro pekuti munoona legacy yavo yakamira sei mushure mekunge vasvitsa gore nezuro vashayika. Gibbs.
Now, talking about the late former President Robert Mugabe, we know that he died in Singapore. He had cancer. So now it seems as if that mausoleum that was being constructed has now been dismantled, according to some state officials. So now I think I've got something on the former or late former president. Let's listen to this kind of thing.
Sokulomnyaka wabhubha owayengumongameli uMoyi uRobert Mugabe wasuswa esikhundleni libutho ngomnyaka ka2017 libambisana lomongameli Emerson Mnangagwa labanye bakhe. Kulabanye abathi kukhona okubambekayo owatshiwa nguMugabe, kube labanye njalo abathi watshiyela uZulu inhlupho ezingapheliyo eZimbabwe. uMugabe wafela esibhedlela eSingapore, wayelesifo semvukuzane. Umnumzana Joseph Chuma owayekumele iphelandaba mpophoma edale leParlamente uthi kukhona okunye okubambekayo okwatshiwa nguMugabe.
uMugabe watshela abantu mixed feelings ucabanga kabili kathathu. Kukhona okuhle sibili akumelayo okunjengenkululeko elizwe lethu, into yomhlabathi banagcina selungisile. Bese siba lokunye futhi okubuhlungu okucatshangwa especially ngapha kwela kithi nxa sesicabanga ngendabeni yaboGoground, sicabanga njalo futhi ezinye izinto ezisifake kuloko esikiko khona inkinga esikiyo khona kwamanje, ngenxa yokuthi bona wayevame ukwenza lokwane esikuthi ngesingisi ama-populist decisions, kodwa asale esesilimaza ke kade singapha. So umuntu esingathi uphile impilo eyomuntu mavele umuntu wonke, akula muntu ongaphila impilo esingayithi yona i-perfect life. Lapha uyaba lesigwenqa, kodwa lapha futhi wenze into enhle futhi njalo.
Singathi kodwa abanye abantu sebekhohlwe ngaye vele, kumbe akula muntu ongamkhohlwa.
Ebetshaya isikhiwa lapha abalungu labo bezibesale phansi, uyazi. Umuntu obebeka izinto zakhe kuhle zicaca, indoda ebikhuluma sibili iphiwe, isiphiwo besikhona. So asomuntu esingapha ngumkhohlwa noma nje ngoba lempambaniseko lapha nalapha njengoba ngithilo ngathi kona imvama nje yomuntu wonke ubona akula muntu ozahamba ngesicathulo esipheleleyo, lapha nalapha siyakhubeka.
Kodwa umnumzana Josephat Mzaca Ngulube olwela ilungelo likaZulu uthi uMugabe watshiyela abantu inhlupho kuphela.
uMugabe waba umuntu ongathi ngumuntu oyisihwaba owafuna ukubusa yedwa, wakhohlwa ukuthi kule kusasa ulabantwana labazukulu. Konke okwenzakala kathesi umbuso khona abehlulekayo izandla zikaMugabe, behluleka ngoba bengabantu athi bengaphansi kwezandla zikaMugabe. So kutshengisa ukuthi uMugabe thina kasitshiyela ngalutho, usitshiyela uhlupho kwaye lokho lucontinue siyaphambili.
Singathi-ke abantu bangamkhohlwa yini?
uMugabe uyakhohlakala. Besides ukuthi simkhumbule ngenxa ye-part of iGoground ayenzayo ebulala abantu esikhathi iGoground, uyakhohlakala ngoba akula nto enhle esayenzayo. Into enhle kuphela enzakalayo esayibona shortly ukuthi yena waba umuntu owavumayo ukuthi ukuthi ilizwe selimehlulile ngesikhathi simbona sezenza into ze-GNU avuma khona wazehlisa ukuthi abantu ngoba isikhathi se-GNU abantu abaningi bakwanisa ukuthi bayakhe izindlu bathenge benze lokhu lalokhu khona kukhana kuphela into ayenzayo engani iyakhanya kodwa kombuso wakhe yena yedwa uMgabe uyakhohlakala.
uMgabe wangcwatshwa kibo kwaZimba loba nje uhulumende wayesemlungisela lokho kubizwa ngesilungu ngokuthi i-mausoleum eHarare.
So there you are. You know, there are some people who say the former president may have done a lot for Zimbabwe, but others are saying no. So some that are opposing whatever he did is because of some certain circumstances, including the Kukurawundi massacres, including, you know, some people who never went to school because of challenges, you know. So now, I mean, it's a mixed bag, sort of like. Marvelous.
Aiwa tinonzwa apo tanga sekutaura kwatanga tiri kuita tanga tutarisa nyaya yekuti vaMugabe vari kurangarirwa sei tichiona kuti nezuro vakasvitsa gore rimwe chete mushure mekunge vashaika ivo vari kuSingapore uko vanga vari kurwara nechirwere chegomarara. Saka vazhinji vanotaura zvakasiyana-siyana kuti vari kuvarangarira sei. Vamwewo vachitaura kuti aiwa vakaunza ivhu kuvatema, vamwe vachitaura nyaya yezvikoro, asi vamwe zvakare vachitaurawo kuti havasi kunyatsoona kunge rangariro yavo yakazenge yachenuka kwekupedzisira, nekuti zvinhu zvakadai sezvipatara hazvina kunyatsowanikwa zvichivakwa zvakanaka, uyezve kana izvo zvikoro pakazoshaika vaMugabe zvinhu zvasina kumira zvakanaka, asi maonero evamwe. Uyezve ipo pano sekutaura kwataita nhasi tine gango, tichange tiri kutarisa zvakawanda zviri kuitika, tichitarisa zvakare nhumwa dziri kutarisirwa kunge dzichiuya munyika yeZimbabwe dzichibva kuSouth Africa, kuti zvichafamba sei, vachange vachiona anani, uyezve zvichabatsira here munyaya yemapisha-pisha atiri kuona ari kuitika munyika pari zvino. Gibbs.
So now, in the meantime, there is some news coming from the police. They've identified one of the people that was shot dead yesterday, following the gunning down of ZNA member Lawrence Mupanganyama in Chivu. So the guy's name is Elfas Jani, 20 years old. So now the other person that was shot dead is unknown. So Lawrence Mupanganyama and Peter Zureba, these are two soldiers who were gunned down at Chicken Inn police base in Chivu on Saturday. So we're told that there was some kind of friction between them and some people around, leading to the shooting to death of Lawrence Mupanganyama. And then these people who shot them actually fled with AK rifles, and all those have been recovered. So now this comes at a time when special envoys from the ANC, that is the African National Congress, and President Cyril Ramaphosa's office are expected in Zimbabwe. Perhaps tomorrow, we are told they may be in the country. So now we've got our guests right now. We've got Nokuthula Adonsi, who is a political commentator, and we're expecting Joseph Chuma to join us and other people in the shortest possible time. So let's start with Ms. Adonsi. So, Mr. Adonsi, we see that there are several issues that we're talking about here. Kodwa sikukhangele kakhulu ikhonokho ke okubhubha kwaMgabe bese kubuya ke ubulawa kwamasotsha njalo lakhonokho ke ukuthi kulezithunywa lezi ezibuyayo. Ngamafitshane ke ungasitshela uthini ngakhonokho ke kokuthatha?
Oqala ngifuna ukukhuluma ngendaba yabantu ababuyayo ekaRamaphosa abuya labantu bakhe abuya labo. Akucaci kahle ukuthi asikaboni into ebambekayo, ngoba kufanele ukuthi kube le transparency. Sibone ukuthi babuya bezoyenzani, bazaqalela kuphi, iplani yabo ithini. So nxa bephunga ubuya akwaziwa lokuthi bazabuya nini, the exact date, which means angana kuzwakali kahle, akucaci kahle. So mina ngibonani angiboni ukuthi kulento engaphuma, angiboni ukuthi kuzaba lento ezaphuma, mina angazi, kodwa ke kuzomela silinde. Then nxa sikhumbula ubaba uMgabe, hayi ubaba kazange yenze kahle, kazangenze kahle and wahlala kakhulu esikhundleni kwakufanele ukuthi ngawachiya ngoba izinto zonakale kakhulu ukuhlala kwakhe for 38 years kwenza ukuthi izinto zonakale kakhulu beyond ukuthi kunzima lokuthi ilizwe likwazi ukuthi recover from izinto eyaziluzayo by during that time during isikhathi sakhe. So kunengi nje kodwa ke into engatsho nje ukuthi mina engiyibonayo angani wayilungisa wayizama indaba yemfundo. Siyabona nje ukuthi even emazweni lapha bekukhulunywa ukuthi hayi abantwana beZimbabwe bafundile. Mina ngibonani ubezamile kakhulu ukuthi azame ukulungisa endabeni yemfundo noma nje ukuthi esokusiya ekugcineni besokunzima kodwa ngibona nababe khona ekuqaliseni kuka soon after independence. I think they really benefited imfundo especially indlela ayebambe ngayo indaba yemfundo. Kodwa ke noma nje ekugcineni sibona ngani bese ungani sikuyahlupha ngoba ubesemdala ubengasakwazi ukuthi bese ngasela control engako ukuthi abuse. So hayi lapho akulanto nje eningi esingayikhuluma ngaye nje ngoba kuningi nje yikho lokho kuhlunyezwa kwabantu indlela abuse ngayo i-corruption i-nepotism ziningi nje izinto aziphambanisileyo ngoba uthe ephuma esikhundleni sazithola ukuthi akusela lutho olubambekayo ade lukhona nje lusele elizweni.
So siyawuzwa kakhulu qhubeka mama ngamafitshane 7
ngendaba ye-army into le ingani iyahlupha ngoba asoze sikwazi ukuthi is it a personal note or yindaba is to do with the politics yindaba politics phakathi kumbe kuxabana kwabantu nje. So indaba le imbonani kunengo esingakakwazi ukuthi kwenzakaleni okuliqiniso ukuthi kwenzakaleni kube indlela yokulahla abantu nje ukuthi njoba kuzabuya Ramaphosa kube indlela nje yokulahla abantu ukuthi bathi hayi le army sekulabantu asebeyihlasela. So le ayikacacisisi bonani kule information eningi engayaziwayo.
So briefly ngesikiwa pongu change usummarize just very briefly.
Okay. I think this envoy that is going to come, like that which is led by Cyril Ramaphosa, I don't really think that.
In fact, Ramaphosa won't go there, so he's actually sending these people.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so people that are going to be sent by Ramaphosa,
yes.
I don't really think it's gonna help. I don't really think it's gonna help, honestly, because there's no transparency. We haven't seen the aims, the plan.
Yes.
What is that going to? Who are they going to talk to? Where are they going to be? We don't even know. So I think there's no transparency. They have to be transparent so that we can know, is it gonna work or not? Then commenting about the late
former president, yes.
The late president, I think we don't really have much achievements that we can see. There's a lot of things, there's a lot of bad things, like we talk about corruption, nepotism, social violence. There's a lot that we can talk about him. Though I feel he tried in terms of education. We see that Zimbabwe have once been recognized as the most educated. So I think he tried on that area. He really did try.
Mm-hmm. So I think now we've got Mr. Joseph Chuma, we've got Tawanda Sokora of MTC, and we've got Mr. Gary Twala Jackson. He is in Dallas, Texas. So let's bring in Marvelous. Then we go straight to Mr. Joseph Chuma. Yeah, Marvelous, go ahead.
Aiwa apo tanga tiri kunzwa zviri kutaurwawo nevechidiki panyaya yemaonero avo avari kuita yavangati yatingati iyo remekedzo kana kuti legacy yevaimbova mutungamiri wenyika vaRobert Mugabe vanga vari kutarisa zvakare nyaya yenhumwa dzichange dziri kuuya dzichibva kuSouth Africa dzichienda muZimbabwe vachinoona kuti nyaya dzekuti pane kutyorwa kwekodzero dzevanhu dzakamira sei, sekuti hurumende iri kuti iyo aiwa hapana zvakadaro munyika, hamuna crisis. Saka regai tinzwe kuna Joseph Chuma veZANU-PF kuti takatarisa zviri kutaurwa nehurumende kuti munyika hamuna imo mapisha zvii zvavari kutarisira kuti nhumwa idzi dziri kubva kuSouth Africa dzinge dzichitaura pavanosvika munyika?
Mr. Joseph Chuma, welcome to the program. Say, how are you?
Thank you, Mr. David. Fine, thank you. How are you? And how are you,
I'm okay. How are you?
Yes, thank you so much. So tell us, what do you think these envoys are going to do in Zimbabwe?
Well, I'm sure they will come with a sort of itinerary from their president and from their party, the ANC, coming to meet ZANU-PF of this side, our political bureau, and basically this is going to be a story being told from the other side of the coin, because what we've seen going around is the story that is from the other side also of this same coin. We've heard the narratives from people that are so much opposed to ZANU-PF. We've heard narratives from people that are anti-government, and at least now for the first time, the ANC is coming to listen to his sister party ZANU-PF and get to see or feel or understand what exactly is happening in Zimbabwe. And from there, then the truth should come out. Like I've always said, if indeed there is something worth noting, then it should be noted. And if there is nothing really not worth, noting, let us put it on the plains just like that. So let them come in, let them discuss. And I also hope that in the same vein, they'll probably then meet the other stakeholders, like what President Ramaphosa said on one of his news castings, that they're going to meet other stakeholders. But what we're saying is that, yes, we might have our share of problem. Yes, we might have a sort of crisis, like the whole world is in a crisis because of this pandemic. This pandemic of COVID-19. But let's not over-exaggerate some of these things, just so that we get in Zimbabwe, so that we demonize Zimbabwe. Because at the end of the day, you ask yourself a simple question: for whose benefit are we doing this for? And definitely, it can't be for our children, it can't be for ourselves. It's just an evil thing that we tend to want to do for whatever expediency that we might want or we might like.
Thank you very much. Mr. Zokora, your chance now. Go ahead, sir.
Regai nditenge kutaura nyaya yavamugabe tinotenda nekupiwa mukana. Vamugabe tinovatenda nenyaya yavakaita yekudzidzisa vana veZimbabwe. Hatingavatorere izvozvo. Asi tinovaziva kuti vanga vari mhondi, vanga vari mbavha, vaive nemunhu ane utsinye. Asi patiko zvino izvi tiri kuona kuti wavakatisiyira wacho itori mhondi hombe, vanotori neutsinye hwakapfuura hwanga uina vamugabe. Ende kana iri corruption paumbavha apa zvatowedzera. Kana iri nyaya yema-human rights abuses atowedzera kupfuura pavanga paina vamugabe. Paive vamugabe varipo, vanhu vese vanozviziva kuti taipinda mumugwagwa tichiratidzira vanhu vodzokera kumba takakwana. Iko zvino izvi vanhu vanopinda mumugwagwa, vanopondwa mumugwagwa imomo. Takazviona zvichiitika August 1, vanhu 6 vakapondwa, tichiona nemusoja anotozikanwa. Musoja iyeye nanhasi haasati abatwa, haasati asungwa. Tikaona zvakare muna January 2019 tichitungamirirwa navaMnangagwa, vanhu vanopfuura 20 vakaurayiwa pakaitika maZCTU stay away, vadzimai achibhinywa. Saka tikutoona kuti kodzero dzevanhu dziri kunyanya kukanganiswa panguva ino yatiri. Vanenge varatidzira vanhu vari kusungwa.
What are the envoys going to do in Zimbabwe? Are they going to engage you guys as well as MDC Alliance? And if so, what are you going to get out of it?
Se-MDC tinotambira zvikuru kuuya kwenhumwa dziri kuuya idzi. Tinotarisira kuti havasi kuende kuState House vonobikirwa tea vobva vadzokera kuSouth Africa. Ngavaende vanoona ma-stakeholders ese ari munyika, vaende vanoona vachamisa MDC Alliance, voregedza kuperera ipapo. Ngavaende kunoona ana Hope Ching'ono, ana Jacob Ngarubvume, vanhu vanga vakasungwa, vanyatsoudzwa zviri kuitika munyika nevanhu vari kuzviitirwa. Kana vakwanisa votopinda muvanhu chaimo, votaurirwa nevana veZimbabwe kuti vaone kuti zvechokwadi muZimbabwe mune crisis, vanhu vari kutambura. saka hatitarisire kuti vangoona vanhu veZANU-PF. Kana uchiyananisa hauyananise nekuona divi rimwe chete, unoteerera zviri kutaurwa nevanhu vese vari munyika, wochizogara pasi wobva watoona zvichionewo kuti munyika umu maita dambudziko. MuZimbabwe mune dambudziko, ndosaka makaona zviri kuitika kuchivhu. Zvakaitika kuchivhu iratidzo yekuti vanhu havasi kufara munyika, ende zvinhu izvozvo zvikasagadziriswa, masoja haasi kufara, mapurisa haasi kufara, vanhu vese havasi kufara.
Mr. Tokora, thank you so much.
Vanhu vachikondana munzira kwese kwatinoenda.
Thank you very much. Now we've got Mr. Gary Twala Jackson. He is in Texas. Baba Twala, siyawamukela kuhlelo.
Thank you, Ngiyabonga Gibbs. Linjani lonke?
Siyapila forward to. Just briefly, tell us what you expect from these special envoys.
I don't expect anything because ANC is a South African version of ZANU. Okay, and I'm not intending, I'm funa ukukhuluma kakhulu ngalokho. Kodwa into ebenzama ukuthi ngiqondise lapha engilesicelo ukuthi sonke siyamukele. Stop referring to Mnangagwa njengomkhokheli weZimbabwe. Mnangagwa liqhaga. Kazanga votelwe. In anything we do, nxa sikhuluma ngeZimbabwe siyakwazi ukuthi iZANU ngokungumhlangano mbe isiqumbi sabahuquluzi abantu abalenhliziyo ezimbi who have imposed themselves on us. Njalo nxa ngabe sikhuluma labantu kangabizwa umnumzana kuthiwa ubaba uMnangagwa bemfuna indlela enze ngafona bengifuna ukuphendula usiso bekhuluma ekhuluma ngomNangagwa athi ubaba uMnangagwa kasobaba lisela ngumkhuquluzi baba Twala lumlazo wami ngubhinya
hayi singasinjalo
Keep ehlelweni lo akazi asizikhulume ehle kuhloniphana
sokunjela ukuthi ngikhitshwe ngikhuluma iqiniso
Twala
kunjela ukuthi ngikhitshwe ngubhinya ulandela ubhinya
alright
ulandela ubhinya maybe lawo umuntu akabhinya
hold on
sikhuluma iqiniso
I will not allow that.
Twala,
there's nothing you can't allow. I'm talking ukumvala umlomo lawo umuntu akabhinya.
Okay, Baba Chuma.
Listen to me. If you want us to listen to each other, listen to me. Mnangagwa ngubhinya.
Okay, hold on.
There's nothing for me to respect Mnangagwa.
Okay, gentlemen, I think we have to have a very civilized discussion here. It's all about us going the way that we are supposed to go. And if everyone says somebody is a thief or is this and that, there should be some court case that would have happened, and not for us to have this kind of accusations without any substantial evidence. So let's get that straight away. So now I think we are going to reconnect our case. Marvelous, I think you can go ahead.
Regai ndimboenda kuna vadzokora takatarisa vanyarikani vachange vari kuuya kubva kuSouth Africa veANC ava munoona imi bato renyu zvii zvamuri kuda kuti zvinge zvichitaurwa pamusoro pezviri kuitika muZimbabwe. Makatarisa nhumwa idzi dziri kubva kuSouth Africa munoona dzichizobatsira sei mumafambisirwo ari kuitwa zvinhu munyika yeZimbabwe?
Yes, so Mr. Chuma, can you hold on there? Let's have Mr. Tsokora. Before maybe Mr. Tsokora, let's have Mr. Chuma. So Mr. Joseph Chuma, we see that most of these issues that are taking place in Zimbabwe, you can feel the anger of the people. Now this gentleman was saying a lot of things. So, but we always appreciate people that come onto the show and not insult any other person. This is a public sphere for everyone to say their own views, and we don't expect any kind of insults. So it's not that we are censoring anyone, but what we want is not to use certain words that denigrate other people. So go ahead, Mr. Chuma. So looking at what is going on in Zimbabwe, do you think that maybe people can be cooled down by some other means? Because you can hear people are very angry.
Mr. Dube, this is not a problem that we say that people are very angry, then therefore they must start being insulted.
Yes.
Respect is end, and opinions do differ. I cannot expect you to to have the same opinion or feeling like what I actually have. And by so doing, it does not mean then that I must attack you and attack your person. It becomes very wrong. Vele akumelanga sivumelane all the time. I think avumelane all the time, and we can't all agree and see things the same way all the time. Like I even said earlier on when we spoke about the former late president Mnangagwa, I said to me, inini I will take it from isintu ubuntu bami unuwangu not afa anaka. I will choose to speak the good things that the late president did for particularly me and maybe other people around me. And I mentioned the issue of education. I mentioned the issue of empowerment. And then I said, no, I know there are other people who might not see anything good and are going to be negative. Let them do that. And I believe that while they are doing it, let them do it in a respectful manner. There's no way you can say that somebody who's the father of somebody, what do you mean by that? You see, already we are losing each other. This spirit of intolerance is what is killing us even worse. We need to tolerate each other with our diversity. Whether tolerate me, allow me to speak, listen to my ideas, and the same goes with me. I must listen to the other people, whether they're MDC or whichever other party. I must, because from there I can pick a couple of things that can actually be very helpful for this country. And if we put these things together, we then form a Zimbabwe that we all want. Because, like I said, no one wants a Zimbabwe that is a malfunctioning. No one wants a Zimbabwe with a dead economy. Because at the end of the day, when we suffer, we all suffer. Our children, our children are going to suffer as well. So we need to be fixing these things for the next generation, for ourselves as well. And we can only do that by engaging each other and tolerating each other from whatever diversity we might come from. Let us just learn to respect each other and live together.
Thank you so much. So, Mr. Tsogora.
How are you tolerating one another? When I expressed my point, you told Gibbs as the presenter to cut me off.
No.
When I was expressing my point.
No.
But you are insulting. You are insulting.
I wasn't insulting. I wasn't insulting. I was saying the truth. Listen, my brother. Listen, my brother. I'm not going to listen, my brother. I'm not.
Is the president of Zimbabwe? He is recognized even at UN level.
Listen, my brother.
Okay, give him a chance.
Can I respond to that? Listen to me for a minute. Listen to you. You believe he's the president of Zimbabwe, Anjo. But allow yourself.
That is the
listen. No. Listen.
Hold on, Mr. Chuma.
He was the president. He wasn't voted, Anjo.
No, you
allow other people.
Hold on, Mr. Chuma. Hold on, Mr. Chuma.
Elections.
He was voted for by people. As much as Nelson Chamisa got over 2 million votes, he was also voted by people. But the was voted.
Okay, hold on, Chuma. Hold on, Mr. Chuma. Hold on. Gary, go ahead, Mr. Twala. Go ahead.
What I'm trying to say is, Mnangagwa wasn't voted. The rig elections, they have a record of that. Is it? They have failed. Nothing is functioning in Zimbabwe. Whoever talks against the leadership of Mnangagwa, just to say Mnangagwa has failed, they get arrested. Why? If you are to be fair, Mnangagwa is a failure. There's a lot of things that have happened in Zimbabwe. People being killed. We can't talk about all the stuff that happened years ago. Let's talk about things that happened months ago, 2 years ago. People being killed by the army in uniform. The people that are supposed to protect Zimbabweans, they get killed. His policies, they mean nothing. He's globe-trotting, posting on Facebook, I've got these mega deals. None of those deals have made anything. Citizens are threatened every day. There is corruption. There's a lot of crime committed. Without justice, there's no justice. And then people retaliate. They attack the army. Within a few hours, the so-called people who did that crime are caught up, they are killed. Why don't you catch up the people that are abusing citizens. Why didn't you catch up the people that killed that woman that was killed on demonstrations in Harare live on camera? Why?
And then the big question.
Let's be honest here. Let us not sanctify nonsense just because we are benefiting from ZANU. In as much as you benefit from ZANU, a few people that are making it in life, think about the other 15 million people, other 14 million people. Is it not a good idea for you to be in business, to live in Zimbabwe, in a community that is not starving? People are starving in Zimbabwe. People are dying in Zimbabwe. The health system has been brought down. You cannot even get treatment for an STD, gonorrhea, and stuff like that. No.
Okay.
Let us face the truth. We cannot sanctify nonsense in the name of truth.
Okay, thank you so much. Hold on there, Mr. Twala. Hold on there.
Okay.
So let's go to Mr. Tawanda Tsokora. Mr. Tsokora.
Tisatenda kuna vadzokora regai timbotsanangura kuti pane vanyarikani vaviri vari kutaura napo tiri kunzwa vari kutaura ivo mamiriro akaita zvinhu munyika pari zvino vageri Twala vari kuti havasi kufara nezviri kuitwa nemutungamiri wenyika pari zvino tichionawo vachuma kune rimwe divi vachitiwo vanga vasiri kufara nezvadeedzwawo mutungamiri wenyika saka pari kuita pakusawirirana asi sekutaura kwaita Gibbs panapa iplatform yekuti tinopa munhu wese mukana wekuti ataure pfungwa dzake tisina kwatakarerekera asi chatisingabvumidze chete kunyombana nezvimwe zvakadaro saka chiregei tiende kwavadzokora zvii zvamakatarisira kuti zvinge zvichitaurwa pamusoro pemamiriro akaita nyika pari zvino titarira vari kuuya maenvoys aya ari kubva kuSouth Africa.
Mr. Tsokora, then we go to Ms. Adonsi. Mr. Tsokora, go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, us as a MDC Alliance, I've already said that we welcome what South Africa is doing right now. South Africa is now taking its rightful and very correct position in the region. They are not helping Zimbabwe because they are a good neighbor, but they have an obligation. They have a responsibility as AU chairperson. We know that Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa is the chairperson of AU. So he has an obligation to intervene in Zimbabwe because there is indeed a crisis in Zimbabwe. We are seeing people here saying that Emmerson Mnangagwa has failed. Indeed, he has failed. You have seen the escalation of human rights in Zimbabwe. No one is allowed to talk. No one is allowed to demonstrate. If people get in the streets, they are killed. So that's evidence that this man has failed. You go to the people, you see the level of suffering that is going on in Zimbabwe. That's enough evidence that there is a crisis in Zimbabwe.
Thank you.
If you see Hopo Chingono and Mr. Ngaruvume going for 45 days trying to apply for bail, which is a constitutional right, and they get incarcerated for that long before they get bail, then you know that there's a crisis in Zimbabwe and that the current so-called president has failed. And we hope and we are very faithful that Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa's envoys will help in brokering peace in Zimbabwe. That's what we've been saying as MDC, that we want neutral people to intervene in Zimbabwe and try to resolve this crisis that ZANU-PF continually deny.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Adonsi, nasi ndaba kona pa mama. Wanibona ngani kuyaphumani nxa sikhangela khonokho ke okwenziwa ama-special envoys la. Kukhona okuzaphuma kumbe kusoze kuphume lutho la?
Hayi, mina ngibona ngani akulanto ezaphuma. Kodwa ke lokhu kubuya kwabo kutshengisela ukuthi kulenye indoda ehlulekayo. Ungabona enye indoda ibuya sizolungisisa indaba zakho emzini wakho sokulenkinga. So lokhu kuyatshengisela nje ukuthi hayi ubaba walapha ekhaya ngani hayi kakenzi kahle. So angiboni ukuthi kulento ezaphuma mina ngoba okokuqala abantu laba kakuvele sobala ukuthi bazoyenzani, bafikela ngaphi, bazabe besenzani. Njalo enye into mina ngabe kuthiwa yimi ade kumele ukuthi ngichoose ukuthi ngoba nababuyayo okumele ngithathe abantu abasuka kwamazwe achiyeneyo njalo futhi even uJulius Malema laye ubengaba ngomunye umuntu ade ngabuye kungabi i-ANC kuphela ngoba i-ANC siyakwazi nje ukuthi hayi phela vele ngosisi bayazalana lezani so ukuthi size sikwazi ukuthi kulento ezaphuma
zikhokheli ezakhethwayo nxa wena ungathi hayi lami ngifuna ukubuya lapha ngizobe kumbo kufanele sivunyelwe hayi ukuthi kumbe kufanele ukuthi abe lo ngwezani kumbe ngwezaphu kumbe ngwe-MDC nxa abantu bebonisa ukuthi we are concerned about this we have something to say indaba singavulelwa ngoba le envoy ehamba eZimbabwe iyamukelwa yizanu izanu izabathatha ibahambise endaweni lapho efuna ukubasa khona iletha abantu babo abazokhuluma amanga babatshela ukuthi into yonke inhle eZimbabwe beqamba amanga ngoba abantu labana babenikezwe
sabanga twala siyabona
so mina ngibona ukuthi hayi lokho akusoze kuncede kangako ngoba sike sabona indaba yokudutshulwa kwabantu mhla ka-1 August akulanto eyaphumayo namhlanje akulanto esiyibonayo eyayenziwa ngoThabo Mbeki akulalutho leli esilubonayo so ngibona nakulalutho nje olungako bayabuya bona kodwa hayi mina ngibona nakulanto ezasiza into ezasiza kuphela lapha ekhaya ukuthi nje ngelinye ilanga uZulu mzane ezazonda kahle kahle bazangena bazathwala izikhali and ukuthola kwabo izikhali yikho lapho kuzaqalisa khona indaba enkulu
siyabonga kodwa sikhuthaza ukuthi abantu belwe ngesikhali kuliwa ngomlomo vele
hayi nitsho ukuthi babadube umuntu nxa ekhuluma khathesi nxa ukuthi uZulu encenga ukuthi bakithi thina sicela lokho kodwa bayachaya abantu lapho kunini bechaywa abantu kunini abantu abangomama behlukumezeka abantu abangomama khathesi abazithweleyo kunzima osisi yazi corruption ekhona khathesi nxa uhamba le-CV yakho kucala kuthiwa hey zwana sihlangane ehoteleni kuze ngikuniki umsebenzi and akulanto eyenziwayo angaze aziwe even ulecturer nxa abuse umntwana wesikolo akulanto abayenziwayo ngenxa ye-corruption bakithi kuyaze kube nini kodwa so lathi sizazonda ngelinye ilanga
siyakuzwa kakhulu Mr. Chuma just briefly or let me not say briefly Mr. Chuma you are hearing all these views it's your chance now Mr. Chuma
thank you very much Mr. Dube.
Yes sir.
Like I've tried to impress even from our previous discussions on this very same platform. This whole issue is an issue of tolerance and understanding each other and listening to each other and building each other so that we build Zimbabwe. There are people, unfortunately, who want to thrive on politics. They've made politics a career, so to say, and therefore, they always want to create some sort of pandemonium so that then their existence is sort of justified and they can still remain in the game. And once the stability being put on the table, they always want to resist that because once everything becomes stable, then they become irrelevant. And they cannot hear that. And that is what has been happening. Even if you look from the time this new president came in 2017 to 2018, right? The elections of 2018. He has been trying to correct a lot of things that had gone wrong. Yes, as a party, we must take responsibility for some decisions that we made before that were populist decisions, but not in tandem with economical growth. And when he came in to try and say, okay, let us fix it so that we will then sort of eat what we actually saw, or eat what we've caught in simple terms of fishing, that if you go and fish, you're going to eat or whatever fish you are going to catch on that day. And so when he's doing that, obviously some things are going to be a bit tough. People have been used to that system of Ugunmiwa all the time. And now when I say, no, let's do the real thing so that we grow this economy. The economy cannot grow by hand out. We hand out every day. It can't. And let's do the things in a correct way. So obviously things are going to tighten up. Things are going to be a bit difficult. But at the end of the day, knowing that the end result shall be that of an economy that will start prospering, that will start coming up, and then everybody then begins to realize their worth, whether professionally or otherwise. So this is the kind of system that we are moving towards. And while we're doing it, Yes, I would never ever say that there's no corruption in this country. It is there, and there are individuals that are doing it, and most of them, unfortunately, hide behind even the ruling party. Some hide behind whatever means they'll hide behind it. Because I've seen from both parties, that and MDC, people being corrupt. We have seen councillors being corrupt, councillors belonging to even MDC, and some officials in MDC, and ZANU-PF as well, likewise. So, and I've always said that we need to be taking these people individual. Let everyone carry their own cross instead of just hiding behind institutions. Because that's how they get away with murder. Because they know that whatever I do, when people want to then lay blame on ZANU-PF, they lay blame on maybe MDC, they lay blame on such an institution, and then them as individuals then get away with murder that day. And we need to be moving away from that kind of system. Let us hold people accountable wherever stations they've been put at. Let them be accountable for their actions. Let them be accountable for their results. If they're not performing, then they must definitely go. That's where we need as ZANU-PF to be sitting down and saying, let us perfect this thing of saying that our contracts must be renewed upon being satisfied that they've performed above board. And if they're not performing, let's move them out. Let's get somebody else to move. And when people begin to know that they are going to be judged according to their performances, they will start performing definitely, because they know that if they don't, they risk losing those very same jobs that they are in it. So it's a simple matter of saying that let us face things factually, let us face things on a case-to-case basis, then we can start rebuilding. Intolerant, it will not get us anywhere. We'll just be going round and round a simple circle, which is not going to attain us any result that we desire.
Thank you very much. I think Marvelous. Maybe we can go to Karitola Jackson. Marvelous, go ahead.
Yes. Let me respond to the gentleman. First of all, let me apologize for being angry, because I mean there's nothing to be happy about the situation, and I hope you all understand that.
Okay.
Now, going to the gentleman, okhulumayo angisho uyakhuluma ngokuthi fanele sizwane, we need to understand each other angisho. Why then the government lekhona ekamnangagwa doesn't tolerate abantu abasolayo abathi hayi asijabulanga ngobukhokheli bakho? You are not the kind of leader that we want. Bayabotshwa. Why?
Right. Maybe can I answer that?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. The government has never been like I tolerate about. I remember the first time when Mnangagwa came into power, MDC the march, and it was a peaceful march. No one was aroused. Nothing happened like that. But then, unfortunately, Can I explain myself?
Okay.
Thank you. You tell me that there was one demonstration here by MTC where there was no harassment at all, because they stick to agreement with the police and everybody. They did their demonstration, but the special was about calm. And then was we are learning demonstration about violence. I remember police in Tumbani, police police what's and then there was flash violence. Murder. I remember our children being blown. I think and stuff like that. Up to a point whereby the police could not contain the violent crowd that was out there, and then that's when the army came in, and unfortunately, lives were lost. We will never condone losing of lives. I saw them say, and it's not something that we should ever glorify or wish for, but it so happened because of these. But the problem with us is that as we should have been looking and saying, but at what point did the army come in? At what point were people then killed? And you realize that it was at the point where those people who were doing demonstrations, instead of doing them peacefully and probably going to hand over a petition or whatever, they actually started destroying property. They started burning up things, and the policeman was actually killed.
So, did they deserve to be killed? Like now when forward ulamagrosa kumbe kulendlu kaGibbs uGibbs ungwezana mina ngiyiphatha nje nxa mphikisana laye sofanele ngiyechaya amawindi akhe.
The people started the violence, and then when the authorities came to try and quell the same violence, the police to contain the people until the army came in. And unfortunately, you all know that the army doesn't come in carrying button sticks or handcuffs. They come in carrying guns. And then unfortunate incidents then happen. We lost 6 precious lives. Those are lives that we
thank you, Mr. Chuma.
To lose. But because of the way the demonstrators carried themselves on that day, that was the end result.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Where it comes from, where it started, we never want to lose lives. We never want people to be beaten up.
Mr. Twala and Mr. Chuma, thank you so much. Our time is up almost.
Yeah, unfortunately, atina extra time.
No, hold on, guys.
Asi regai timbonzwa kubva kuna vadzokora vachiunganidza zvataurwa nevanhu vese ipapa tinzwawo pfungwa dzenyu imi sebato reMDCA nekuti tanzwa vachuma vachiti bato renyu ranga richiita zvemhirizhonga mune dzimwe nzvimbo.
As MDC, we have a history of peace. We have always held peaceful marches in Zimbabwe, even during the time of Mugabe. And he confessed to that himself that during when Mnangagwa came in, we had a very peaceful march. That's our identity. That's what we always do. We don't have a relationship with violence or anything unless violence is perpetrated against us. Like what happened in January 2019, ZCTU Stay Away, where he's referring that people became violent. He should not lie for the people. It was not the people that became violent. It was a stay away. People were supposed to stay away. The soldiers and the police officers went into the houses and started beating up people, telling them to go out, asking them, why are you staying out? You should be in town. That's how the violence started. And that violence was perpetrated by the police and the army and the security forces. Just like we are having a high perpetration of violence to the people that have been abducted today. You will be surprised that up to now, we have had 50 abductions in the past 2-3 months. Kana vachuma vari kutaura kuti vanhu ivavo vari kuita ng'apongo vari kuzviita vega, sei hurumende isiri kusunga vanhu ivavo vari kuita ma-abductions iwayo? They have the resources. Why are they not arresting them? We have seen an escalation of abductions. We have seen an escalation of violence.
Right, one last thing, Mr.
Army.
One last
and
thing.
That violence.
One last thing.
Let me finish.
Yeah, one last thing. Our time is up. So the thing is, can Zimbabweans fix this in less than 10 seconds? Your response so that everybody responds. Can Zimbabwe fix this through the envoys or any other way? Exactly 10 seconds.
Zimbabweans are more than capable of fixing their problems. And the President Chamisa has highlighted that on a number of things. And that's why we are saying we welcome the delegation that is coming from South Africa. We just want them to meet everyone that matters.
Thank you so much. I don't see it's your chance now. Do you think Zimbabweans are going to fix this in conjunction with the South Africans?
Okay, let me respond to this.
Twala, one second, Twala. Okay. I don't see Koyama.
I think, yes, of course, they might come, but I don't think something will come up from it. I think when the army realized that they are part of the community, when someone closer to any army member is injured or is killed, I think they will realize that they have to support the people, not to be the enemy of the people. So the moment when army and police realize the importance of people, I think that's when we're going to see a change.
Mr. Twala Jackson, 10 seconds. 10 seconds there.
Yeah, but like I said, I don't think there's any possibility of Zimbabweans bringing about a solution. Because they are trapped. Whatever action they want to do, we are bulawa, we are fiwa, and so they don't have that freedom. And then Zimbabweans that are outside the country, we are scattered. Agulando esingayenza to organize ourselves and fight for our brothers, our families.
Thank you,
so
Twala.
we need that freedom. Thank you.
Mr. Chuma, 10 seconds.
Zimbabwean problems are always going to be fixed by Zimbabwean people, and that is a given. Yes, we can always welcome interventions. We can welcome dialogue as far apart as the AU, the SADC and stuff like that. But solutions for Zimbabwe's problem lie with Zimbabweans. All we need to do is begin to tolerate each other,
Thank you.
listen to each other, and then we'll start solving Zimbabwe.
Thank you very much. That was Mr. Joseph Chuma of ZANU-PF. We also wish to thank Ms. Noktula Adonsi, a political activist, Mr. Tawanza Tsokora, MDC Alliance, and Kari Twala Jackson, a political activist. Signing off is Gibbs Dube in Maryland saying good night, Zimbabwe.
Inini ni Marvelous Mhlanganya huye ndiri muWashington ndichiti muve nezuva rakanaka tosangana zvakare mangwana. Let's talk ngati kurukurei.